everyone, my name is Chelsea and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we are making a bookworm. So this is a concept that I have not come up with by myself whatsoever. I'm going to walk you through my process, but basically we're going to be starting a crochet bookworm today to track the books that I read in 2023. So you know the concept of like weather blankets, right? Everybody has seen these online somewhere where people track the weather and like every day or whatever it is, they crochet a line in this blanket, and by the end of the year you have a whole blanket. And I've seen this concept also translated into books. Like I know for a fact that Becca from Becca and the Books did a blanket for 2022 and it looked so cool, you know, all this kind of stuff. To me, I feel like a blanket is a little bit much. Like I've done crochet blankets before. It's basically all I've done. I have Presley's baby blanket that I made when I was pregnant with him, and Elliot's baby blanket that I made when I was pregnant with her. They're big and soft and I love them. And so I've definitely done blankets before. I've also done scarves and I think one hat. Like I have limited crochet ability. I have enough and I can definitely follow a pattern if needed. They just can't be like super complicated. But what I have seen recently, so this was on Facebook in a group that I'm in for books, obviously. Somebody was making a book snake, because apparently some of these weather people are now making weather snakes. And it's adorable. I will leave a picture here. This is the snake. This is what they were starting to do. The thing is, every single comment basically on here was like, why is it a snake and why is it not a bookworm? And I was like, you know what? That is perfect. We are going to make a bookworm. So I did end up getting yarn and everything, and we're going to be attempting to make a bookworm. I do actually also have a video that I'm going to sort of be following and tweaking on YouTube that I found, which is a snake. The thing is, it definitely starts you off making like a snake head, and so I'm actually tailoring it a little bit because they also show you how to end the book snake, and the tail of that is more like what I would want the head of the worm to be as well. Like I want it to look more like, I guess, sort of like an earthworm. Like I want it to look like a worm. So I'm gonna be sort of tweaking that. I'm gonna probably pull it up just so I can have it as we go. But yeah, I bought myself some yarn and all that kind of stuff. So we're gonna sort of like go through, I'll explain the colors that I'm using, what I'm using them for, and then right now it is February now that I'm doing this. I'm not actually gonna be crocheting February's stuff today. I'm only gonna do January's, and I have 10 books total that I'm gonna put on my bookworm for January. So let's get into the stuff. So like I showed you before, I have done blankets before. I'm very picky with the type of yarn that I use. I can't have anything that's like too scratchy or stiff. It just like creeps me out. I get like those shivers down my spine. So I'm always that person that goes for very, very soft, very velvety type of feeling stuff. And the type of yarn that I wanted to use based on pictures and stuff that I was going through, they didn't have any in store, so I actually had to have it shipped to me. The thing is, I knew it was going to be a bulkier yarn just because it said it was, but I was still surprised with exactly how bulky it looks. It's this one here. I actually have it upside down. This one. We're using the Sweet Snuggles yarn by Loops and Threads, and it is thick. This is a thick boy yarn, but it is so soft. Like I am so excited. The thing is, that means that this bookworm is probably going to be huge by the time that we are done, because literally I'm planning on making the head with whatever the first book I had in January was, and then I'm probably gonna do 2 rows of stitching per color per book, because of the fact that when you're crocheting, a lot of the times you're going through and you're not really seeing a very good line with only 1 row. So I think I'm gonna do 2. We'll see how that looks as we go. But so for colors, I do have this nice like royal blue. This is going to be for sci-fi books. I got myself a purple on camera. Oh, there it goes. It looks more purple now. I was gonna say on camera it looked a little bit pink, and this isn't exactly the purple I wanted. They were out of like the really royal purple, but this is still a really good purple. This is going to be for comics and graphic novels. And then I do actually have a pink. This is going to be for romance books. I have this teal color. I think it's actually called turquoise. This is going to be for fantasy books. Oh, I ripped the tag a little bit. We're gonna get through that, but this is gonna be for fantasy. I have black. This is going to be for horror, mystery, and thriller books. Focus on the color. It's really not liking how bright this is. There we go. We have a light green. This is going to be for other. So basically the other books and genres that we talked about, sci-fi, fantasy, romance, horror, mystery, thriller, graphic novels, and manga. Those are like the majority of things that I read in the year, but I do then have sometimes just plain contemporary books, or I'm currently reading one nonfiction this year. I have some other things that are more paranormal. I wouldn't necessarily say they're fantasy. First and foremost, like I consider paranormal a separate genre, or historical fiction every so often, like those kind of things. Anything that's like extra is gonna be this green color. So now, I mean, it's a pile of yarn. Because we're using such big yarn, I did also have to buy a hook. They recommended, according to this yarn, a like P hook. A P hook, which is like 11.5 millimeters or something like that. I ended up with an N, which is still much bigger than I had ever used before. I want to say the biggest one I've ever used before. It's not even like this is part of the pack, but I think it might be a J or a K. Maybe a K is this like this one here. I bought an N because I couldn't find a P that I liked that wasn't too expensive. So I bought a pack that had a couple different ones. We're gonna use an N. I've used smaller hooks than what is recommended before. It just means the weave is a little bit tighter, which I'm fine with. But like, I should have known, based on the fact that I had to buy a bigger hook, this yarn was gonna be huge. I'm just so curious about how big this snake is going to be. So that is sort of everything. I do also have stitch markers, which I've never used before, but I have some of those too because we're going to be working in a round. And so let's pull up all the books that I read in January so we can take a look at the color scheme that we will be doing for today. Okay, so I have all of my book stuff popped up. I am going to tell you guys right now, because this is something that I have decided, whenever I do like my stats and stuff for reading on these videos, I do always talk about my DNFs. I'm not going to be including DNFs in the bookworm. I only want to actually do the books that I have finished and everything for the month. So my video earlier this week was my stats and everything that I read, but basically what we have here are 10 different books. We have romance, so our first beginning part of the snake will be pink. I then read I was gonna say fantasy. It's a graphic novel comic series first. It was fantasy, but we're separating those out. That's what I would like to do. So that was actually purple. Then I read a horror, so we have black. Then I read another romance, so we have pink. Then I read another comic series, so we have purple. Then I read another horror, so we have black. So far we have a pattern going. Then I read a sci-fi, so we have blue. I then read a paranormal, and I'm going to say it's definitely paranormal, so we have green. I then DNF'd one, I'm going to skip that. We also had a fantasy, so we have, I'm going to say teal. I'm going to consider that teal, even though I think when I bought it, it was like turquoise. And then the last one I have is actually another paranormal. I'm going to say green. So those are the 10 colors in order that I need to do here. I'm very excited. Okay, so like I said, I'm also going to be following the snake tutorial, but I did actually earlier today updated like how I think I want to do it with the doubling stitches and all this kind of stuff so that it won't be as round head shaped. It's going to be a little bit more tapered, more worm-like. So yeah, let's grab our hook and our yarn and get started. this one took a lot longer to start because I have never done it the way that they are doing it, but I think I have it the way I want, and now I'm gonna try using my pattern that I want to use, but this should be like the top of it now. So let's see if I can do this. Okay, so I think this is going to be basically, for the first book, the head. It's gonna be a worm. Like, I'm not making it a snake, but it's gonna be like this. And so I think this is going to be the first book. Okay, just making sure that I did get 12 stitches around because that's how I want to do that. So I'm gonna do, I think, one more row of purple to be my next book. I'm gonna get all tangled. right here is January. Romance, graphic novel, or comic technically. Horror, romance, comic, horror, sci-fi, paranormal, so other, fantasy, paranormal, or other. I'm really liking this and the color scheme. This is something that is single crochets the whole time, so I feel like that was why it was very easy for me to be like, you know what, yeah, I'm gonna make a bookworm. It's gonna be so long. Oh my gosh, guys, if I actually get through what I want to get through in the year, like my goal on Goodreads right now is 150 books. This is 10 times this by 15 at least. I do feel like this is going to be one of those things that my kids are absolutely going to love, and this is supposed to be something that you stuff. So I actually do have polyfill as well for this, and you're supposed to stuff as you go. I think I will test that out off camera just to sort of see if I like how thick it could get. I'm not gonna like fill it too much, but like right now it's hollow and it still looks pretty good, even being hollow, just because it's not too big. Like, it is big yarn and everything, and I do have 12 stitches per row around, which is what the snake on the tutorial was. But you're supposed to stuff it. I'm not too sure if I want to do that. I love how this looks with the stitching because it is a single crochet the whole time. I'm very happy with this. It is very soft. I do also feel like this is definitely going to be a thing that my kids will steal once it's done, because like obviously, and it's a little bit jankier looking on like the bottom where like the color changes are. Ooh, speaking of color changes, I just have all of my colors coming out the middle of the worm right now. I'm sure I could like cut them off in between and do it that way, and I guess if I'm taking a long time between different colors, so like this pink one down here, I probably could cut off the extra pink around the purple or black and then save it for when I do another pink. So that might actually help it not be as tangled, but I didn't want to deal with cutting things off on camera, so everything is trailing off into my bag. But I think that's what I'm gonna do, is if something is a color change within a couple colors, I will leave it as I go. But if I know something has not been used in a while or is not going to be used in a while, because I've already started a couple things being read in February, like my next color that I'm going to have to add is going to be purple. So purple might actually, I might leave it, but I haven't read a romance in February yet. And so because of that, I think I might cut the pink ones off a little bit closer to the edge and do it that way. But yeah, bookworm instead of like a book blanket. I'm very excited. I'm sure my kids are going to love it when it's done. I love the colors I picked. I'm very curious to see how it's going to continue. But I guess that's going to be it for today. I think I might give updates in vlogs and stuff instead of just doing normal videos like this, unless we eventually get to the end of the year and I want to like show you guys. But let me know what you think. And yeah, a bookworm. If you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up to let me know. Subscribe to this channel if you'd like to see more videos. I currently have videos coming out on Tuesdays and Thursdays, so I will see you then. Bye!